that you were looking at, the various steps and the things, and you touched on something very critical, finance, very, very critical. So I'd like us to start with that. In terms of what you've seen and from your role and your experience, is there anything you can tell us with regards to how the Commission is helping to attract, different levels of finance? Because what you've mentioned here, we're talking about close to, if I'm correct, over 80% of that funding that is required, 86% is expected to come from the private sector. And we know that in the private sector, there are different types of funds available. I mean, you've just mentioned right now, which is very critical. From what we've seen, most people, investors, when they get a PPP signed, they head straight to the banks. And we know that 80% of what the banks manage are on-demand deposits that people just come today and ask for, and you need to pay them. And you are looking at a project where we are looking at 20-year, 30-year, sometimes 40-year concessions. So there appears to be some kind of mismatch with the larger portion of funds that are available as opposed to the kind of funding that is required to drive PPPs. From your experience, what has the Commission been able to do? Gentlemen, okay, please. Please put it on. Yeah, give it to me. What has the Commission, have they recognized this issue? If they have, what have they done? What are the procedures, policies? What are they putting in place to attract, innovative financing to, drive the development of more of these PPPs in Nigeria? I don't know from your experience. I don't know if there are things you could share with us from the perspective of the ICRC, what they are doing in that regard. Thank you so much. Thank you. I was looking at, so you did mention funding coming from abroad, so things like foreign portfolio investments into, okay, interesting, interesting. Thank you for that insight. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. I would just quickly, we are kind of short for time because of the technical issues. So I'd want to pose one more question to QS Gagariga. He was sharing with us just before we started. He works for the Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, and they've had experience on how to fund certain projects. I just wanted him to share with us from your experience, how have you guys managed, structuring these transactions, supporting them to receive funding, and then supporting them yourself? Just quickly from your own experience, what's it been like?
We are working with the banking industry. That is our main partner. And what we have done with banking industry is that we have a $50 million revolving loan. You bring your business case if you are in the oil and gas industry, and then it goes through a capacity building division that studies your case. What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? It goes through a simulation to find out whether it will work. We have a success story in the water smith refinery in Idigwe, in Imo State. Right now it's running 5,000 barrels per day. We are producing diesel. So in that area, diesel price is constant. It's going from 5,000 to go up to 30,000 in the next 5 years. We put in our stake there. After about 5 years, we pull out our stake to go and fund something else. Then we have
Your stake is how much? About 40%.
Because we want to make sure that our money works in the refinery.
Okay, so unlike the RCRC now, you have a platform for funding.
We have a platform.
You have a platform for funding. Yes, for projects. So on your own end, you have the private sector coming to the table, but then there is an incentive on your own side because you have project funding related to supporting the development of oil and gas and linkage sectors.
We have created oil and gas parks. Initially, when those parks were created, they were meant to provide facility for oil manufacturing concerns to come in there. But now, we have looked at it. Some people need places to manufacture.
Yes, manufacturing hubs.
Manufacturing hubs. So it's a free trade zone. We provide you the floor. If you want the shop floor, we give a 5-year concession. You just use the place to get some small incentive. And then from there, when you take off, it's 24/7 power, it's water, there's treatment plant. 2, one in Utupani and one in Bayelsa State. Both of them are supposed to come online at the end of this year. Then, when we built our head office building, we needed power. We've never connected one thing to national grid. We are not a generator. We have a gas power plant. We have excess power. So right now we're doing advertising to get a license to now give power to the state capital. If you get that license, it will now help build new capacity. So in that instance, if you have something to eat and it's worth the lab, you bring the case, you look at it. If it is going to work and we run simulation, we'll provide you like a seed fund. It's at 0 interest. The idea is to build the capacity.
Interesting.
Once you have done it,
Interesting.
It has to be very interesting.
Yeah. No, so there's attendant industries around it.
We have type mills here that are running in Abuja. Finance type mills. They are as international standard right now running in Abuja. And they are now supplying pipes to the oil and gas industry. They are going to now develop to supply pipes to the cooling industry.
What myself and what we're saying is, as soon as I have a presentation in bank, I'm doing hospital, can you give me money?
If it is within the free zone.
Are you bringing the hospital equipment to now service the oil and gas? You want to manufacture equipment.
So it's oil and gas related?
No,
Yeah, that's what he said.
But if you are not bringing it in, and I can run the business for you, and it will work, and I will get my money back in 5 years, I will give you this. So even if it's an hospital equipment, but the business is dying.
Good.
No, we don't go. No, we leave that.
So it's limited.
We don't go. We don't have to do this. Because
It's
okay. It's good, at least oil-related things.
Yes,
oil
yes.
and linkage sectors.
And linkage sectors.
We
Well,
have.
Are you in the other one that are doing the one that they put on the AK, they call it AK?
The pipeline. No, the
No,
pipeline
pipeline.
is under the NNPC. But wherever you are doing something, when we see it is interesting and has viability, we go to buy it. We provide funding so that thing does not fail. We help to push the thing along.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. We are short. I thought their participation in that space deserved some round of applause. Yeah, they are because that's a very unique case. I mean, imagine having to go into a JV in that space. Part of your problems are, they are resolved. One of the things that we've noticed, and it's been a major issue when PPP, became popular in this country, was the challenge around, contractual performance. On the side of the concessionaire, on the side of government. We've seen in cases where PPPs no longer become PPPs, because the whole idea is to make it, when you were making your presentation, QS1, you talked about, do you want to put a service out there that the market cannot afford? And then again, you are coming to the market, and you mentioned something very exciting that I explored during my PhD, and I don't think it's very common in Nigeria, the issue of viability gap funding, because the investor is not coming in here for a loss. It's not coming in here to come and for national good. It's coming in for value. So where there is issues with contractual performance on the side of government or on the side of the private sector, from your experience, what has the authority been doing? What has the regulatory authority been doing to try and address these issues? And how can we, do this better so that people are not worried about wanting? It's not only financing. People are scared of coming into PPPs in Nigeria, not because of lack of finance, but the fear around, all these issues. So what's the ICRC doing in that regard?
Thank you very much. There's actually a survey, a world survey, that those big investors, they were asked, what are the major things that will make you put on a PPP? You know what number one is? Law. You don't have to pay it. Not for a woman. No, that's number one. So, yeah, so when you bring in money, I'm sure MTN, even maybe aviation, I don't know, all the airlines, they put in connecting money away. That one is controlled. Okay? Nobody is paying for it. But contractually, what do we do now? Before you develop any project, the line is there's no point of waiting from day one. Tell your bankers, this is what I'm thinking about. From day one, I'm thinking about doing levels to Badagry road or whatever. I hope you the agreement itself, you must scrutinize it before you sign. That's why we are saying it belongs to the owners of the project, which is Ministry of Human Resources and the private partner. You have to sign what you are agreeing to. And also, when the project is on site, you should be able to look at the KPIs. Are you doing what you're supposed to do? So there's no actually, if you're able to follow those, because remember I told you the capacity is not yet there, especially in the ministry. Because why? We could be in PPP department for 4 years. After all the training and all that, it took you somewhere to start doing something. So the knowledge is not retained. So it happens and happens and happens. So the way I say, we are looking forward. Say, okay, maybe one day we'll start getting it. But the most important thing, pay attention to the nature of the sign. So there won't be any problem. Those ones which are non-national, those of level, some of them were there before we came. And preparation, nobody wasted time preparing. You just prepare. Take, that's a small contribution. Is there anyone I'm missing?
No. I think you have covered there. So I also wanted from your, we'll take you. We'll take you. We just have about 15 minutes. We'll take you from your experience in terms of contractual performance, particularly on your own end where you are coming in. You have skin in the game because you're putting in funding. So contractual performance wise, how do you guys manage this and what have you been doing from experience?
I don't think we have that much of a problem because even according to the Act, we have what is called a monitoring and evaluation division. They go out regularly to check whether you are following what you are expected to do. Take, for example, gas. Right now that we have this issue of PMS, we are funding building gas facilities around the country. There's one coming up in Niger State to at least have gas, cooking gas at home. We have already explored carrying gas into vehicles, but we can't do as much because it's a little bit beyond our regulation. But we try to look for people who are interested, who we can push out. So whatever we do, we are monitoring the person. If we have given you money, there is a template which you must follow. This is your business case. This is what you said you're going to do. Are you doing it? If you don't do it, we will come after you. We have two partners, EFCC and ICPC. We use them very well. When you misbehave, that is our teeth. We don't come to fight with you because we cannot come as a regular agency. We just report the person to ICPC or EFCC. This person is misbehaving, please. Even if in the independent market practice, when we had a leadership retreat earlier this year, they said we are using the ICPC instrument. We said that's the only way we can get you people to perform. So we use that regulatory framework to hold them, but we also have a monitoring division to ensure that you stay where you are.
Thank you very much. Thank you. So I think we'll open it to the floor now. There was, I think, one question, 3 questions, I believe. So, okay, it has increased. So we're taking 5. So let's just know. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Oh, you're letting us go. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Even in institutions where you don't expect to see private individuals, you try to push individuals forward and then back them with finance, even if they are going to withdraw some losses. Then secondly, PPP model which we go for, because it is very clear PPP models in Nigeria, for instance, companies in establish that area. You have the case of Lekki, where the business owner has said they don't want that service, which is
name? Your name, then question. Talk louder. Hello, can you? There's a slide you put for me. That beautiful graph. Put that back. Leave them there. Okay, I understand. Okay, let me start from there. Thank you so much. Okay, if you look at that, this is better. He's been monopolizing this one. Okay, so architect, there is no mix-up. What you are, it just actually removed it. In Nigeria, there are 3 routes for procurement. Traditional procurement, covered by Act of 2007. That one is budgetary funded. What do? You go to a ministry, if they are doing a hall like this, you tender. You architects, you will design and charge the ministry money. QSs get their own money and the rest. You are coming as a contractor to implement. That's not what we do. That's for BPP. Bureau of Public Procurement regulates that one. Okay? That's what we call procurement. Then, next procurement, BPE. Bureau of Public Enterprises. What do? They sell assets in perpetuity. Do you understand? Like Daily Times and the rest of it. Once it's sold or Nigerian Power, sell it, it goes off. You don't get it back. Then the next one is PPP. In PPP, you are coming to invest. So myself as forget about RCRC, myself as the government agency, Minister of Works, I've told you what I want. You are coming to provide it. I've told you I need a road going from Abuja to Ilorin, 10 lanes and the rest. It's for you to say this is how you want to do it, and all the paraphernalia there is left to you. So in that case, the money you are getting back is going to come back from that project you've done, keeping to certain KPIs, key performance indexes. Do you understand me? So it's not mixed up at all. This one, you are coming to render a service for payment. Eventually, the government agency takes that project back much later on. Okay? So what we're saying is, for you to do project, you've seen it. As I said, this should come again. So, here, this is what you are designing. You are doing all those things. You have designed everything, costing it, everything. You know how much it is. You don't need the analysis. You don't everything. What is it going to do? Then here is procurement. You are telling people to come. When they come, they are the people that will build. Or they're going to design it by themselves. So do you understand me? To render that particular service. Once the service is built, here you selected somebody. Here is being built. After building, he will manage it to such a time that he has made money to pay back to his bankers. Of course, you also need some profit, but not a kill before it goes back to the owners, which is government agency. Is that okay? Is it still confusing? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, sorry. Okay, what you are saying, I've told you there are 3 routes in procurement. Our own is PPP. What is happening, I know where you're going to. What is happening for us to get transaction advisor? We use public procurement. That's the only link. Transaction advisor, somebody who will work on as consultant, you use that, okay? Does that answer your question? You're talking about Engineer Chidi. That's what we told you. That stands. Then, my friend, you talked about profit. We're a government body. Okay, we don't do, there's nothing like that. Actually, now we are dependent on subvention from federal government. But as time goes on, we also exit, start managing our affairs. Whatever we make, I told you we'll be training a lot of people. Even though our guy Femi, he came with his people. When he came, we entertained them. They didn't give us one cover. So, so these are the things, okay? We also train people here because I say, since I'm here, a QSA should be coming now, so why not? So things like that are training. Of course, all the volumes of information you want, I think we're the only agency that we don't charge for our acts and other things. We'll come if it's there, we'll give it to you. So we're not built to make profits. Then models. What did I say? I remember here, I said from day one, once you conceive a project, if it's a road project, you are working with the places, right of way. All the places the project will pass. You're supposed to be meeting with them. You don't have to pay money. You can tell them the benefits of the project. Because if it is built, their children will be employed there. And also there will be a lot of things. That's what is called land capture value. So when it's there, you see adverts. MTN can come, give several amounts of money to then community benefits. They can give even free power. You know when all those masts started, all those communities where they put it, they give them light. So these are the benefits you can get, but you have to make them understand. I also said here, tell your bankers you are doing projects, get them involved so they can start advising you. Looking, okay, I remember that customer A, he says he's pursuing a project. Maybe in 6 months' time, he might be looking at how can we help him? He's your customer. Then again, Federal Ministry of Finance, ICRC, once you conceive a PPP, let us know. Let Federal Ministry of Finance, because of contingent, what do you call, I'm sorry to go get technical, contingent liability. Every project, is going to into the future, maybe 40 or 35, nobody might know what is happening. So in that case, if there's anything, federal government of Nigeria still has to pay something. That's what we call contingent liability. So from day one, let people know what you're doing. That's the sense of all these advertisements, and you also start telling people about the project. No, you can't. There's some things you cannot think like oil. You cannot do oil now. Do you understand me? If you hit oil, yes. You are there to do road, and there's no road you can dig more than 12 feet worst. You cannot. So we can rebury people that are buried, maybe. Do you understand? You can rebury them somewhere, but.
So give me the mic
That's key.
What's your organization? We don't want to say it. Go ahead. It's not hidden. Okay, it's all right. Go ahead. Okay, yeah, we know. what actually, I know, Jack, which projects have you actually helped to finance in Nigeria as a Nigerian? Mini grids? Oh, so, what I'm saying is actually, as a Nigerian, should also be helping us to look at better ways of, because some of them, let me tell you honestly, some of them, they just come here to talk and go. People like World Bank and the rest. Do you understand me? So what I'm saying, if you're a JICA, how many projects have, yes, I'm coming. You have to facilitate projects. That's actually why you're employed. Make it to be, let Nigeria, let's benefit. Because we say, we'll be training people. They're all here, it's all documented. We do MPP and that's all state governments. We're there. MDAs, even now, regular basis, we train. So, and if you go to our website, it's always there. So, what I'm pleading, my brother, is you guys should also pull your weight. Don't work for all those Japanese people. They just pay you money. They go say, we're not doing it. We're doing a lot. We have a lot of projects. Let them help. Have you heard of Warhouse in a Box? It's a medical facility. There's one here in Abuja, one in Lagos. What do? You know those drugs? HIV, AIDS. What's the other one that's the form like, what do you call it? Polio and the rest. So when they give us all these drugs, before, there's no place to store them. So we're able to, who finances? US aid. The Japanese will also do that. They finance it, one in Lagos, one here. So those drugs, when they're brought, they're kept those places. So their potency will be intact before it gets distributed. So whatever you are, let's assist in a way so we can have a very good Nigeria and the rest of it. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we can do one last question. I think he indicated, I don't know whether we can just repeat it. Yes. Well, please make it very quick. Was I think he wants to add. I just talk myself. Not exactly. Including local content,
All agreements you sign, there's always a clause. All the OPs, even before we get any job. There's a place you have to tell us, this project, even the president, president wants to know, this project you want to do, what is it called bringing to Nigeria? It could be employment. Of course, that's the main demand. Then money, of course, and other things. Okay? So, a project generates employment. These are the things you listed there. So, local capacity, yes. We also run courses for TA services, transaction advisors, because as an engineer, you must have a role to play. I don't know where you are structural or M&E. You have a role to play. QS is the price, whatever it's there. Then everybody's, it's just for you to play your card very well and also nose around to see what is happening. Don't leave all those Oyibos there. We know what is happening here. and adding to bottom line, which is to make money for, so people can, government can actually do what it's supposed to do in terms of creation of things and all that.
Thank you very much. Last question, and then we. You are last. Oh, me, I thought you wanted to collect the mic. You want to? Okay, so.
Um, okay, that's a fine question. Right now, like you said, our vision is industrialization of the oil and gas sector and its linkage sectors. So whatever will affect oil and gas, we are also interested in. My department is a JV department, new department. I can go into anything. My department is a limited liability company within the body, so I can go into agreement with you. I manage properties. So for something like that, we can open up an estate. As long as it's viable and I see I can get my returns, we can talk business. Our oil and gas parks are going to be 5 in Nigeria. 2 are coming on. 1 in Edo State, 1 in Akwa Ibom State, and I think 1 more in Delta State to make it 5. The idea is we're going beyond oil and gas. We just want to make sure that we develop our economy. Let our economy run. Like I mentioned before, we're going to gas facility. So if you can only manufacture just the valve, you don't have to be oil and gas. You can be manufacturer of valve. And you are producing. You are manufacturing. You have created job for yourself. You have created job for people. And there's the movement of the logistics. Your manufacturing concern, like Ibigwe right now, it was a small community. But once the refinery came on board, trucks started going there. People started having small hotels. Before, the community is now industrious. Now there's traffic going to Ibigwe before. So even the keke man and the okada man, there's business there. So we go, although we are looking at oil and gas, we're also touching every sector. So if you have a good business deal for an estate, my department is, but we will still run it through simulation. And if it works, let me just give you an idea. We are looking for people to come and develop an estate in Yenagoa Bayelsa State, because we know that things are going to happen. With oil and gas park coming up, we will need such places. So if you're interested, we come, we run, we sign an agreement, and after a while, like I said, we are not there for business. We just put the investment, and then we pull out. We don't make profit. We just help ourselves. So before a guy comes to ask me, there's no profit.
Don't give them too much ideas. You're giving them too much ideas. It's okay. Thank you.
The engineer is in town. For anybody to tell us that we don't have any that standard of well, we are already deceiving ourselves. By the time we start proving ICRC,
Okay, okay. That's actually, it's not a question per se. It's just advice. But let me also add, you see all those, when you see all those cook boards, it's done by, it's under traditional procurement. It's not under our purview. Okay? It's Federal Ministry of Works and Housing, they did that one. The only way we can come in, if anything, federal government decides to put tolls, put somebody to manage it, then it becomes under our purview. Like which might happen to Second Niger Bridge, Lagos Ibadan, and the rest. But for now, it's not under our purview. Okay? Then public service, you know the way it takes time. I was just telling you, PPP, we actually want career development for them. Procurement people fought against it, they have. Eventually, there will be presented papers. One day it will come, so people can actually be there and grow to PAMSEC. Do you understand me? PPP. Like all other ones, you could be a PAMSEC, you are PP endowed. In that case, you would like to see that PP projects are encouraged and all that things. It's a gradual process. We are getting there, but it's going to take some time. Sorry.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Just as a recap, I think what our senior colleague was talking about is a major. We didn't really touch too much on it because almost everything they were talking about was going around sustainability, but I think there's a major opportunity there for what you've mentioned, for the Green Building Council to engage the ICRC and say, look, this is what we are doing. We would like you to incorporate our sustainability standards into your benchmarks. So it creates an opportunity for training, for what. So I see more collaboration in this regard. That is what we're taking away from this. Thank you very much for that, sir. Yes, he didn't ask it. He didn't ask it at me. He knew where he was going. So he knew where he was going. Thank you very much, sir. On the issue of the sukuk and sustainable, I think that a lot of times too, it has to do with the investor. If the investor's approach and outlook on where he's going to get finance and you know what is, of course, there's room for advisory when they come to the ICRC. ICRC can say, look, your cost of financing looks very high. We think there are alternatives you can look at. We like your project, but try other, so that option is there. So, but I want to thank everybody for attending. Thank you very much for your time. If there are any questions, I think the panelists are still around. You can exchange cards with them, try to reach out with them and all of that. Then also the GBC Secretariat were here. If there's anything you'd like to clarify, you reach out to us. Thank you very much for your time. Have a wonderful evening.
Let me bring in now. You're not interested in